Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel The English World. So in the previous video I uploaded the English explanation of all summer in a day and it was the first part. So now I'm going to continuing the explanation. So before starting the explanation, I'm requesting all of my guys to subscribe my channel and to do like, share and comment. You can also comment in the comment section that how was my explanation, and also if you have any kind of queries you may ask me in the comment section. I will be solving your queries. So not wasting your time, so starting the explanation. Till trembling hands, I have ended the first part and continuing from there the second part of my video. But then they always awake to the tatting drum, the endless taking down of cleared paid necklace upon the roof, the work, the gardens, the forest, and their dreams were gone. So by these lines we can say that whenever the children wake up from the dream, they again saw the constant dream, and the sun's dream of their goes vanished. Okay, whenever they saw in the window, they again saw that the rain is falling. So naturally they are dreaming of their sun, regarding sun goes vanished. All day yesterday they had read in class about the sun. As tomorrow the sun is going to be visible, the teacher taught the children about the sun yesterday. About how like a lemon it was and how hot. The teacher was explaining the children about the sun, that how the sun looks like a lemon and the temperature of the sun. And they had written small stories or essays or poems about it. The homework was given to the children, some homeworks were given to the children that they have to write some essays or poems or short stories about the sun. I think the sun is a flower that blooms for just 1 hour. So someone from the children had written that he or she thinks the sun as a flower that blooms only for an hour. That was Margot's poem. The poem which I mentioned was written by Margot. Read in a quiet voice in the still classroom while the rain was falling outside. Oh, you didn't write that, protested one of the boys. I did, said Margot. I did. William, said the teacher. But that was yesterday. Now the rain was slackening. But that was all about yesterday, because today the rain is stopping and as the sun will be visible today. The children were crushed in the great thick windows. The children go and stand in front of the windows to see the sun. Where's the teacher? Someone from the children asked that where's the teacher? Maybe the teacher went somewhere for her personal work. So he or she is finding the teacher. She will be back. Someone among the children, then he or she answered his question that she will be back. Don't worry, she will be back. She had better hurry. We will miss it. They were all eagerly waiting to see the sun. And according to the scientists, it is predicted that on that day the sun will be visible. Means today the sun will be visible. So they were eagerly waiting and they don't want to miss this moment. So they don't want to miss this moment. So they were very much worried about it. They turned on themselves like a feverish will, all trembling spokes. The children were ready to welcome the sun. Margot stood alone. Margot was standing alone because she doesn't like to talk with the other children. She is a different kind of girl. She was a very frail girl who looked as if she had been lost in the rains for years, and the rain had washed out the blue from her eyes, and the red from her mouth, and the yellow from her hair. She was an old photograph dusted from an album, whitened away, and if she spoke at all, her voice would be a ghost. Now she stood separate, staring at the rain and the loud wide world beyond the huge glass. So she's a different kind of girl. Because why different? Because she came from Earth to the planet Venus, and she remembers the sun now also. But the other children, they don't remember the sun, because when the other children, the last time other children saw the sun when they were just 2 years old. So they couldn't remember the sun. But Margot remembers the sun. So here we can relate the difference between Margot and the other children. So here a little explanation is given here that how Margot exactly looks like. Margot is bored by constant rain. By seeing the constant rain, Margot is totally bored. From this lines we can understand. What were you looking at? Said William. Margot said nothing. Speak when you are spoken to. He gave her soap. But she did not move, rather she let herself be moved only by him and nothing else. They edged away from her. They didn't look at her. She felt them go away. And this was because she would play no games with them in the echoing tunnels of the underground city. So Margot is very much bored by the environment, and the environment is deeply affected her mental state. She is a very shy girl now. She doesn't talk with anybody. She doesn't play games with anyone, and she don't like to play any games with the other childrens. Though they all are same age, means they all are 9 years age, but then also they don't like Margot, and Margot don't want to talk with them, don't want to play with them. If they tagged her and ran, she stood blinking after them and did not follow. If someone tagged her, she doesn't give any kind of reactions to them. When the class sang songs about happiness and life and games, her lips barely moved. When the whole class is singing song about happiness or life, but Margot lips doesn't move. Only when they sang about the sun and the summer did her lips move as she watched the drenched windows. So whenever the students, the children used to sing about the summer and the sun, at that time her leaves used to move a little bit. But when she saw the when she saw from the window the constant rain, then again she again feels bored. And then, of course, the biggest crime of all was that she had came here only 5 years ago from Earth. And she remembered the sun and the way the sun was and the sky was when she was 4 in Ohio. So here it is written that it was the biggest crime of Margot to come to the planet Venus from Earth. She remembered the sun. So Margot came to the planet Venus from Earth, and in Earth she used to stay in Ohio when she was 4 years old. 5 years after, means now she is at present 9 years old, and the last time she saw the sun when she was 4 years old. Okay. And they had been on Venus all their lives, and they had been only 2 years when last the sun came out, and long since forgotten the color and the heat of it and the way it really was. So again here the difference is given that Margot is totally different from the other children, because the other children used to live there since when they were born, but Margot was not. Margot came from Earth to the planet Venus, but the other children used to live there. They have saw the sun when they were just 2 years old, and now at present they are 9 years old. So it's similarly they had forgotten all the memories of the sun. But Margot remembered. It's like a penny, she said once, eyes closed. Margot represent the sun as a penny. No, it's not. One of the children said, no, it's not. It's like a fire, she said. She means Margot. In the stove. You are lying, you don't remember, cried the children. One of the children again said that you are lying, you don't remember. So from these lines we can also say that the children is feeling jealousy of Margot, because Margot remembers the sun, Margot knows the sun, and the children don't know, means they also know, they also saw the sun when they were just 2 years old. They don't remember, they can't recall the memories of the sun now at present. So they are feeling jealousy of Margot. But she remembered and stood quietly apart from all of them and watched the patterning windows. She knows that she remembers, and she means here Margot. Margot knows that Margot remembers, and Margot is feeling very bored there, so she used to stay apart from them. And once a month ago, she had refused to shower in the school shower rooms, had clutched her hands to her ears and covered her head, screaming the water must not touch her head. So here we can also understand that the Margot is feeling really bored of the constant rain, and she is now frightened. She became frightened by seeing the rain always. Okay, always she used to see the raindrops, and now she became frightened by seeing the rain, constant rain. So even when she goes for the shower, every time she refused, and when the shower rooms, she used to cover her ears and over her head, so that water must not touch her head or her body. So after that, dimly she sent it. She was different, and they knew her difference and kept away. All children can also understand the difference between her and them. So they also used to ignore her and kept apart from her. There was talk that her father and mother were taking her back to the earth next year. So there was a discussion between her father and mother that they will be taking Margot to earth in the next year. It seemed vital to her that they do so. Though It would mean the loss of thousands of dollars to her family. So it may for taking Margot to Earth back. So it may so her family may have a loss of thousands of dollars. And so the children hated her for all these reasons of big and little consequence. So by these reasons, what are the reasons? That they feel jealousy. Actually, the children feel jealousy of Margot. Because Margot can remember the sun, and if the next year she will be returning back to Earth, then they will be feeling jealousy because they couldn't see the sun, and on Earth she will be seeing the sun every day. So this sort of things, they hated Margot very much. They hated her pale snow face, her waiting silence, her thinness, and her possible future. Get away. The boy gave her another push. What you are waiting for? A boy pushed her and told that why you are standing here and waiting for what? Then for the first time she turned and looked at him. For the first time Margot turned and looked at the boy who gave her a push, and what she was waiting for was in her eyes. So again she started crying by looking at the boy. Well, don't wait around here, cried the boy savagely. So the boy told, why are you waiting for here? You can't wait here. Don't wait here. You won't see anything. You will be seeing nothing. Her lips moved. Nothing? Nothing, he cried. It was all a joke, wasn't it? The boy said that it's all of a joke. The sun will not be visible today. He turned to the other children. Nothing's happening today, is it? They all blinked at him, and then understanding laughed and shook their heads. So they are bullying Margot. They want to bully Margot. The other children wants to bully Margot. So they made a plan that they will be not letting Margot to see the sun. Okay. Nothing. Oh, but Margot whispered, her eyes helpless. But this is the day the scientists predict. They say they know the sun. Margot whispered that, oh, but this is the day the scientists predict. The scientists predicted that today the sun will be visible. No, said Margot, falling back. They searched about her, caught her up and bore her protesting and then pleading and then crying back into a tunnel, a room, a closet, where they slammed and locked the door. So here we can understand that they locked her in a room, not in a room, in a cupboard. They locked her in a cupboard so that Margot can't see the sun, and their intentions were like that only, that they don't want Margot to see the sun. They stood looking at the door and saw it tremble from her beating and throwing herself against it. They locked Margot in a cupboard, and standing outside the cupboard, they can hear Margot's crying, Margot's protesting, Margot's beating. They heard her muffled cries. Then smiling, they turned and went out and back down the tunnel, just as the teacher arrived. Now the teacher has arrived and they closed Margot in a cupboard. Ready, children? She glanced at her watch. The teacher is saying that to ready the children. Yes, said everyone. The all children said to the teacher that they all are ready. Are we all here? Yes. The rain slacked still more. The rain is slowly, it's going to be stopped. They crowded to the huge door. The rain stopped. It was as if in the midst of a flame concerning an avalanche, a tornado, a hurricane, a volcanic eruption, something had first gone wrong with the sound apparatus, thus muffling and finally cutting off all noise, all of the blast and repercussions and thunders, and then second rived the flame from the projector and inserted in its place a beautiful tropical sight which did not move or tremor. So these lines are dedicating that now everywhere, now it became a pleasant, everywhere became pleasant as the rain stops. Always there has a sound that always the rain falls, the rain falling has a sound. Okay, they don't like that sound because for there on the planet Venus it has been raining for 7 years and the sun is only visible for only 1 or 2 hours after the 7 years. So they are habituated to see the sun, to see the rain, and they are bored of. The world ground to a standstill. The silence was so immense and unbelievable that you felt your ears had been stuffed or you had lost your hearing. Although the silence, the area was so much pleasant that they were thinking that their ears had lost the hearing. They became dumbed. The children put their hands on their ears. They stood apart. The door slid back and the smell of the silent waiting world came into them. The sun came out. Finally, the sun is visible to the children. It was the color of flaming bronze and it was very large, and the sky around was a blazing blue tile color, and the jungle burned with sunlight as the children, released from their spell, rushed out yelling into the springtime. So now the children are very happy. Along the children, the forest are also becoming happy to see the sun, to see the presence of the sun. So everywhere there now the joyness, the happiness came. The children were playing here and there. They rushed out to see the sun, and as if they are enjoying the situation as they have got a summer vacation. Now don't go too far, called the teacher after them. You have only 2 hours, So the sun, from here we can understand the sun is only visible for them for 2 hours. You wouldn't want to get caught out. But they were running and turning their faces up to the sky and feeling the sun on their cheeks like a warm stone, warm iron. So at first we learned about it that the sun is visible there only for 1 or 2 hours. So they misses the sun. Most of the children almost forgot that how the sun exactly looks like, and also the warmness of the sun. So there on the planet Venus, the people who live there, they use warm iron to keep themselves warm. Okay. as there no sun is there, not the presence of sun is there, their temperature is also different from ours. So they used to keep themselves warm by the help of a one iron. They were talking of their jackets and letting the sun burn their arms. Oh, it's better than the sun lamps, isn't it? One of the children said that it's better than the sun lamps also. Much, much better. They stopped running and stood in the great jungle that covered Venus. As on the planet Venus, it had been raining for 7 years. Okay, so the forests are also increasing. The forests are also increasing, their size, their everything, their, as always there is rain, so the forest also become a giant octopus, like a forest become an octopus to them, that grew and never stopped again growing tumultuously. Even as you watched it, it was a nest of octopi clustering up great arms of fresh like weed, wavering, flowering in this brief spring. It was the color of rubber and ash, this jungle from the many years without sun. It was the color of stones and white cheeses and ink, and it was the color of the moon. Now, as their sun is not visible for every time, so the forest color also became dull. The children lay out laughing on the jungle mattress and heard it siege and squeak under them, resilient and alive. The children played there. The children loved the presence of the sun. They played lots of games there. They enjoying the moment. They ran among the trees. They slipped and fell. They pushed each other. They played hide and seek and tag. But most of all, they squinted at the sun until the tears ran down their faces. The children played many games there, and the children enjoyed the appearance of the sun. But most of the children, they stared at the sun only. They put their hands up to that yellowishness and that amazing blueness, and they breathed off the fresh air and listened to the silence which suspended them in a blessed sea of no sound and no motion. Okay, now everywhere became silent as the rain stopped and the sun is also visible. So everything, the environment of there goes changed, means the whole scene goes to changed. They looked at everything and savored everything. Then, wildly like animals escaped from their caves, they ran in shouting circles. They ran for an hour and did not stop running. So like a wild animals, they ran and ran and ran. They enjoyed the moment and they didn't stop their running. They played a lot of games and they are just enjoying the presence of the sun. And then in the midst of their running, one of the girls wailed. And while running, one of the girls cried. Everyone stopped. The girl standing in the open held out her hand. "Oh, look, she said, trembling. They came slowly to look at her opened palm. In the center of it, cupped and huge, was a single raindrop, means From these lines we can say that the rain is again coming and it will be raining for again 7 years. She began to cry. Looking at it, they glanced quietly at the sun. Oh, a few cold drops fell on their noses and their cheeks and their mouths. Then again the whole environment is going to be changed. It's changing slowly by slowly. The sun faded behind a still of mist. The sun is fading behind the winds. A wind blew cold around them. Again, cold winds blew around them. They turned and started to walk backward toward the underground house. Then they started to go to the school again, where the teacher was. Their hands at their sides, their smiles vanishing away. So again came to the same state, and their smiles, their happiness again vanished. A boom of thunder startled them, and like leaves before a new hurricane, they tumbled upon each other and ran. So thundering started and the environment changed. Cold winds are blowing and they ran towards the underground house. Lightning struck 10 miles away. Thunder and lightning started. It was 10 miles away, 5 miles away, then it's coming towards them. 10 miles away, 5 miles away, a mile away, half mile away. Then the sun is now not visible and the rain started again. The sky darkened into midnight in a flash. Now the sky again, without the presence of the sun, what we will see? The sky, it will be blackish in color. In night, what the environment we used to feel, they feel the environment every time. Exactly that environment every time. But not that environment. Here, every time we don't get rain, but they used to get the rain for 7 years. They stood in the doorway of the underground for a moment until it was raining hard. Then they closed the door and heard the gigantic sound of the rain falling in tons and avalanches everywhere and forever. So the rain started, and again that sound, that gigantic sound. When the sun is visible to them, a pleasant sound was there. Everybody, the environment was so pleasant that they thinks that their ear, they couldn't hear anything. Their ear damaged. But now when the rain had started again, a gigantic sound again came and their happiness vanished. Will it be 7 more years? Yes, 7. Then one of them gave a little cry. Margot! What? So one of them again remembered about Margot, that they had closed it. Then one of the children remembered about Margot, and they felt guilty now that they closed Margot in a cupboard. She is still in the closet where we locked her. Margot. They stood as if someone had driven them like so many stacks into the floor. Now they are feeling guilty by not letting Margot to see the sun. They looked at each other and then looked away. They glanced out at the world that was raining now and raining steadily. They could not meet each other's glances. Now they are feeling so much bad, so much guilty they are feeling, that they couldn't look at each other's face. Their faces were swollen and pale. They looked at their hands and feet, their faces down. Margot, one of the girls, said, "Well." No one moved. "Go on," whispered the girl. So among the children, one of the girls said, "Please now let Margot be unlocked." They walked so slowly down the hall in the sound of cold rain. They turned through the doorway to the room in the sound of the storm and the thunder and lightning on their faces, blue and terrible. They walked over to the closet door slowly and stood by it. Behind the closet door was only silence. So Margot is feeling so bored, and now after crying for many hours, now she also became weak and she stopped crying, and the silence she stopped beating at the door and she became silent. They unlocked the door even more slowly and let Margot out. Now they unlocked the door and let Margot out. From this story we can understand that for jealousy they didn't allow Margot to see the sun. Now they are feeling that they did something wrong. They did missed it with Margot by not letting Margot to see the sun. They can understand, they can realize that Margot was right. Margot, everything which she represented about the sun was truly right. But the children ignored her saying, ignored her also, and by jealousy they did a big mistake towards Margot. So again saying, if you like my video, don't forget to like, share, and also please subscribe my channel. Okay, thank you so much guys, and meeting you in the next video. Till then, bye bye. Thank you guys.